Firstly, Hope, two new signings. We've just met them. Fantastic to see them arrive. Can you tell us just a little bit about where you envision them playing in the side and what they bring to the side that have had such a good year and a half?
Well, Emma is a defender, can play anywhere along the back line, so that gives us some cover in all areas. And Julia is generally a midfield player, not so much. I know for Hacken she played a bit more of a forward, but generally a midfield player, which obviously adds more to the depth of our squad, which is a really good thing. I think at this stage it is just that they haven't played in a while. Obviously, they've done really well in terms of the fitness testing. We're just trying to engage them with the team, get them familiar, and it just offers us a little bit, greater depth and some variety, which is a good thing.
How do you think they will find the challenge? How do you see the WSL being a little different to the Swedish league and the demands of it?
Yeah, I think it's the physicality and the speed, I would argue, is greater. So we're trying to bring them up to speed in that, certainly in training. But we know that the games are going to be the real test, and that's what's going to, advance them even quicker in terms of adapting to our league. But we have to gently bring them in and ensure that it isn't a bit of a shock and they don't lose confidence. So we want them to when they play, to play with some confidence, some freedom and fun, and I think we'll get the best out of them. I think in training they seem to have enjoyed it. I think they've been well received by the girls. I mean, our girls are very good at that, very, very engaging and welcoming. And I think it will help them to settle, and hopefully it's just a matter of time before we see how good they actually are.
Well, it's interesting you say they're engaging when new arrivals happen, because they have embraced them all in the last couple of years, and they've all added value to the squad, give or take, haven't they? Especially the international signings, and they've actually improved all the other players that are already there. You've improved as a squad, and the competition has actually been beneficial for everybody, pretty much.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the things that I always say. We bring players in, they must add value, and if they don't, then we don't keep them. In all honesty, you don't know what you're going to get until you get them here and in the environment. Every environment's different. Some will settle, some won't, some will push on and others won't. But it's for us to try and bring the very, very best out of the players that we have. And hopefully those two will add value and we'll be able to get the best out of them.
Do you expect many more faces in, and might there need to be one or two going out to compensate in the next 2 or 3 weeks of the window?
Yeah, we're looking. I think we're always looking to strengthen. I mean, we show interest in players. They're either not available or going elsewhere. So it's a really, really tough window to try and recruit. Everybody's trying to strengthen. Everybody's trying to add some depth to their squad. And we just need to we monitor it daily to see whether, do we keep everybody? Do we send some of the youngsters out on loan? Is it beneficial? It depends where they go out on loan. How do we look at it? Do we keep them? So those conversations are ongoing daily, especially at this time. And as well, we look further ahead to the summer. So it's a continuous conversation around players, who we retain, who we possibly loan out, who we might have to let go, who we're going to bring in. But the players, as I said, the players you want to bring in, you don't always get. So we just have to manage it accordingly.
Arguably 2021, the best calendar year in the history of the women's team, but ending with those 4 disappointing defeats in all competitions. Was the Christmas break and heading into the new year perhaps the perfect reset for you and the squad?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we had this discussion before the break just to sort of articulate to players how well they've done. I think when you start winning and the expectation is to win, when you lose, it's quite tough to take. But if you look at the calendar this year compared to last year, I think this year, certainly before Christmas, we only had on the board 6 points. If you look at it now, post-Christmas, we've got 15. And I sometimes think we have to remind the players of that. We have done so well so far. You know, it's quite close with those teams in and amongst us, but at least we are amongst it. You know, whatever happens, we've done well so far. We need to keep building on that. And it's really important to remind players that we've got a tough run of games coming up. But remember, we have got those points on the board. We can pick up points. So every game, you know, we go into, including this one at the weekend, the idea is to try and get something out of the game. And that's what we plan and prepare for.
And finally, for me, if I may, Manchester City, at home for your first game of 2022. A side below you at the moment, a side who've not had the best start to the season. How do you see this game?
Listen, they're still with a depleted squad. Every player they put out is an international, so you know, high calibre international. So we're under no illusions that what's going to be presented to us on Sunday. You know, even though they haven't done well in some of the games, they've been unlucky. I think some of the opposition that they've played against, they've really been on the front foot and caused them problems. But, you know, make no mistake, they're still a quality side. They just perhaps haven't had the luck. The injuries probably have unbalanced them quite a bit, but I think the break, they will also reset. And some of the players that have been injured are on their way back. So it's going to be tough for us, but we know that anyway.
Good luck Sunday, thanks.
Thank
nice
you.
to see you again. Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.
Thanks, Tim. Juliet.
Thanks. Happy New Year, Hope. Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Very simple question from me to start with. How are you all? How has everybody fared over the Christmas break, both in terms of injuries and illnesses, particularly around COVID?
So the Arsenal game was cancelled because of close contact. Everybody's served, you know, the days of isolation that's gone through. In terms of that, we had a lot of injuries going into the West Ham game. We tried to get that game postponed as well, just because of injuries, not because of COVID. So we had to play that game with a squad of players that were carrying injuries that then extend into the Arsenal game, and it just COVID so happened we got that game called off. The time over Christmas has allowed those players to recover. We still have some niggles that are still being managed, but we're in a better place than we were before Christmas, which is a good thing.
Seen a few of the games postponed already for this weekend coming up. How confident are you that this game will go ahead on Sunday?
Well, I guess as confident as I can be from our perspective. We're testing as we've been asked to test at this point, at this moment in time. Everybody's okay. And hopefully we can get the game played on Sunday. I really don't. I want to play the games. I don't want that backlog leading into the latter stages of the season. We'd rather play. The players are ready. They want to play. They're excited to play. Worked really hard today. Been good to be back, and I think they just want to get on and play the games now.
And it's been quite a big gap, hasn't it? 15th of December, the last match. I mean, how hard is that to get the players back into the swing of things?
It hasn't been too difficult. I think a break is welcomed. I know we had to cancel the last game because of the COVID reasons, but I think it's really important that the players get a break. The winter break, in my opinion, is needed. It gives everybody a chance to reset, refresh. You know, we have international players. It's nice for them to go home and see their families. They were really excited to be back, a little bit rusty, as you would imagine, but the last couple of days they've worked really hard, and as I said, they're just looking forward to the fixture now.
I know Tim's gone over a lot about your new signings, Emma and Julia, so I won't go over everything that Tim's just asked you about, but the fact that they have some experience of European football, Champions League football, was that attractive to you in terms of bringing them to Brighton?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Emma's got 6 years experience on Julia, and that shows in the way Emma plays, her confidence, her ability to engage with the wider squad. Julia, I would argue, is a little bit shyer, but today I think every time she plays with the girls, she grows in confidence. And the fact that technically they're both good gives players around them the confidence. They're international players. They've been on a world stage, you know, got to finals. So they bring that experience into our squad, can surely only help. But it wasn't just about that. It was just about positions. Do they add value? Yes. Do we need players in this position? Yes, we do. add value, right, let's try and get them. And that's what we did. Unfortunately, we got them.
Seen a number of Scandinavian players come to Brighton over the years. Is it a particular place you like to look, or is it just the WSL? Brighton is quite attractive to players from places like Sweden and Finland.
To be brutally honest, I think sometimes it's affordability for us. We have a budget. It works within our budget. We do look at players far and wide, but the players we look at, they're not necessarily looking at us. So it's quite a competitive market. You know, we've seen players that have gone to all the other teams in the WSL that we've inquired about. So the market is very, very competitive. So it isn't, you know, Scandinavia is particularly better than other parts of the world. It isn't about that. It's about what you can actually get through the door with the budget that you have. And I think with Emma and Julia, we've done particularly well, and we're really delighted to have them with us.
And just one final question from me, Hope. Reflecting on the last few months of 2021 and looking ahead to 2022, are you starting to see the benefits already, would you say, of those new training facilities?
Absolutely, but I always say it is just a building. It is just a building. It's what you do in the building that is the most important thing. And I think the girls have really taken to it. The facilities are good. The quality of the surface is good. The recovery area, the port, everything gives them the best chance to be the best they can possibly be. They have to do the work. The building just allows it to be a little bit easier. But without the work and the discipline and the dedication, you know, all that we've achieved is not possible. So if we want to improve, it's not the building, it's the individual, really.